there. Welcome back to Wailing Wire's Old Iron. You know how it is in the summertime. You're so busy, you got the yard to take care of, and plus you got 40 acres to maintain and try to make it look like it's not abandoned. You know, so that takes time, and yeah, been a whole lot of that going on. Plus, you know, just living life. Haven't made too many videos, been doing other things, but got one for you today. Let's take a look at what's been going on around here. Appreciate you being here. I do believe my pants are on fire. Looks like my chair's on fire. I believe my table's on fire. Oops! Hey, welcome to Rat Rodding. My name's Wailing Wire, and don't ever do what we do here on this channel. Well, you know, there's been several things around here that I just keep saying I need to fix as soon as I get around to it. You know, there was that light switch in the house that I needed to replace as soon as I get around to it, and also the faucet in the bathtub. Well, I need to replace that too. I kept saying, boy, as soon as I get around to it, I'm going to do that. And there's something else on this truck that I need to fix as soon as I get around to it. Well, I finally got me around to it. And since I got around to it, I'm gonna replace the intake and exhaust gasket on this thing. Been needing it for a long time. Oh boy, and you know, if that intake's not sucking air, might even run better. What do you bet you? My dad used to say, I bet you my bet you against your bet you what you bet you. Well, this set says Chevrolet 6, 1929 to 33. So, we fall within the perimeters. This is 1932. 1932 Chevy Confederate. And it's so nice because it's got half-inch, 9/16, things like that. Things of that nature. Oh, boy, that was loose. That was loose. That was loose. All I needed was tighten. But, being loose, probably won't bore the gasket out. Blew the gasket out. Yes, they all loose. And these are the kind you gotta take the bolts all the way out too. They don't just drop in. This is old school stuff right here, fellas. I ain't joking around with you now. This is serious. See, you got them holes in there that you have to deal with. Except on the end. Love working on this thing. 7/16, half-inch, 9/16, no 12s, no 14s, nothing like that. It's just wonderful. All right. Didn't have any parts left over. No bolts or nothing, or anything. Nothing but some wore out gaskets. So, let's see if this garbage will start up. See what it sounds like. Pumped that carburetor several times, putting that linkage on. missing. I must have bumped the plug wire. And another thing too, I forgot that I need to fix is, yeah, this thing's, that ethanol gas ate up another hose, so I gotta change those hoses out. Put some ethanol resistant hose on there. I got some. Well, I had bumped the wire as I suspected right there. And, you know, I wasn't going to put that on while it was running. Let me get the pliers and tighten that down. Just like I said, everything's just so simple, so easy to work on. This is, I'm in my element when I'm working on this old junk, because I cut my teeth on those old 216s, 235s, well, it's mostly 216s, but you know, the old splasher rigs. They don't have no oil pump, no oil pressure, just slinger. They just sling oil up around in there in the block, and I love that simplicity, and it works, you know. So yeah, let's see what it sounds like now. Clear. Still missing. That's odd. Don't usually miss. I just had one wire up against the other one. Sounds so good. I can't wait to take it down the road, get it under a load. It won't sound good. It goes wooden, 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 wooden. All right. My buddy was giving me a bad time because I said, I'm tired of working on that square body. I'm going to get it out of here. And well, I brought this in, and he's laughing. He said, well, it's the same thing. And I go, yeah, but it's different problems. You know, it's a different set of problems. That square body, I was explaining in the video that actuator gear in there and behind the tumbler, behind the ignition switch, has got some teeth stripped in, so it doesn't push the rod down in the right place. It'll start it, but when you let off, it kills it. And even though I explained that, I still got people giving me solutions to problems that ain't there. So I'm going to work on something else so I can get some new solutions to some new problems. This one refuses to start. If it sits overnight, you have to prime the carburetor. And I'm wondering about the accelerator pump. And so what I'm fitting to do is I'm fitting to climb up in there and pump that thing a few times and see if she's squirting any gas. And I suspect it's not, because I believe if it was, I believe it'd run. As soon as you prime it, it goes. let it sit a couple hours and it'll start again, but if let it sit overnight, it won't. So, and yeah, take a look at this. I better put you over here so you can get the full effect. It's pretty bad. And I done told you what, have you priced a set of shocks lately? I mean, goodness gracious, I went in there and told him what I needed shocks for, and man, he showed me one. His cheapest one was $59, and I said, well, that's for a pair, right? He goes, no, that's for one. I go, come on, man. What's the matter with you people? I think when I built that Rockabilly, well, I know when I built it, I put Volkswagen shocks on it, but I don't know. I think they cost about $8 or $10, you know. Tank the case no more. All right, I'm gonna get into this thing, see if she's squirting fuel. And that's another problem. This thing has got a bad exhaust leak. And a bad accelerator pump. All right, I'm gonna get her off on the other side so I can get it on the lift. This thing sat in here a few days now, and it don't have a bunch of leaks. It's got one little tiny one right there. It took about 4 days for that to get there. I don't know. Head pan gasket leaking, maybe running down a little bit. Yeah, she's pretty oily back there. So far I haven't found anything on here that can't be cured by putting a 454 under the hood. Well, I ain't no mental giant or anything, but I believe I've discovered where the exhaust leak comes from. Y'all see that? Broken bolt. That'll be fun, won't it? Yeah. I just now got this thing up in the air, and I'm going to get my first look at the underneath of it. And you guys might as well look at it with me. We got a little oil coming off of that, dripping off that starter. I'm sure that's where that spot came from, and I noticed above that the sending unit is leaking pretty bad, and looks like the transmission pan might be leaking a little, and front seal, yeah, typical, you know, 167,000 miles. Control arm bushings don't look too good. I'm surprised at that. Why would this little short thing, this is a short box, why would this little short thing have a carrier bearing and a 2-piece drive shaft? That's odd to me. Rear pinion seal is shot. The bed is good. Bed's not rusted out, but it's got some cancer. It's all good here in front of the tire, but back here it's got some pretty bad cancer on each side back here. That's pretty bad. And it's pretty bad over here. But I've got another bed out there that has some good pieces on there that I could cut out and replace that. What else we got? Yeah, there's some cancer up there. That's weird. I've never seen it rust out there before, but I'm no expert. And over here too. And whoa, got some real cancer right there. And a hornet's nest. Well, anyway, other than that, looks pretty dry under here. The exhaust is pretty old, but it's all in one piece. It's not rotted and rusted out. I don't know what happened there. Replaced the muffler, and Welded that one shut. Yeah, I was surprised. I never dealt with one of these little 250s like this. It looks like the intake's part of the head, and because the exhaust manifold just bolts up to the bottom side of that intake, and that's all cast in the head, so it bolts up from the bottom. I never dealt with that before. It's got this little why has it got this little split right here? If you're not going to split it all the way out, why was it split and then run back together? I don't know. I just spotted something that's going to give me fits. I'm trying to replace the exhaust gasket, and somebody said, why are you messing with it if you're going to put a 454 in it? Well, because I want to drive it. And I'm not quite ready to do a swap yet, but if it gives me any sass, it'll come out. And I can see right now it's going to give me some sass. Look up in there. See those two bolts on the bottom? They got to come out. There's a hole back there with a bolt in it, and that bolt's got to come out. And boy, that's going to be fun. But you know what? I put some heat on them, and they just come right out. The top ones, they were all stuck too, but I put the hot wrench on them, and they just turned right out. So heat goes a long ways when you're working on stuff like that. All right, my SD card's full, the camera says. I guess I'm done right now. Forget the golden years. I'm gonna rollerblade and I'm gonna raft the river.
Enjoy the ride, whatever it brings.
Well, I've never seen anything exactly like this. The intake is cast as part of the head. It's all one piece. And then the exhaust manifold bolts up to the bottom of that intake. Now, this one I'm going to try and drill out. This one I'm going to try and drill out. I have some extractors. I have some left-handed bits. But before I start, I'm going to heat that up really well as I did these others, and I'm going to see if I can turn those out of there. I'll drill them with a small bit first, and then I'll use a left-handed bit to start drilling, and sometimes they'll just turn right out as you're drilling if you can catch the bit in there. Now, the problem is, the serious part of it is, there's ear broken off of this manifold, but there's just enough threads on there to catch the bolt. It doesn't really hold it in, but if you thread it in there, it'll set there. And so what I have is enough threads to align that bolt. I can't do it with one hand, but yeah, it'll set there. And then what I want to do is put a nut on the bottom side. Yeah, there's just enough threads. I'll clean them out good, but there's just enough that it will align that bolt. So if I do that, and then, well, I had it sitting there a while ago, but I've cleaned the threads off enough now that it doesn't want to sit there. But anyway, it will align that bolt. So I'm going to run a nut on the bottom side of that, and I'm going to weld that nut to this manifold. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I know you're not supposed to. Weld cast with a wire feed, but I've been doing things all my life that you ain't supposed to do. That's why it says at the beginning of my my videos, don't ever do what we do around here on this channel. Well, I'm chasing them. You think I'll catch them? You know, that might just work. It looks real straight, and what it does, it follows those original threads down through there. So that nut's aligned pretty good. It's not going in crooked or anything. You know, that might just work. I won't snug it up real tight. I don't want to over tighten it or anything, but I got it welded all the way around there. and it's aligned and straight, so I don't see why it wouldn't work. Well, I got this silly little gasket in. They had to order it. It sure is a skinny little thing. Look how skinny that is. How's that supposed to stop any exhaust leak? There ain't much to it. Alright, I'm gonna put it on. See what happens. Oh, that was a tough one. I'll tell you what. Trying to hold that manifold up underneath there with one hand and get bolts started with the other and keep it lined up, and you had to pick it up and push it in over a spot here. You couldn't just lift it straight up, and that's what separates the men from the little girls right there, boy. But I'm getting it. I'm getting it. I ain't got it yet, Bob, but I'm getting it. I just about got it. I had to replace a bolt. I had 3 broken ones, so they too short. But we're getting there. By the way, my little nut that I welded on back there, that worked out just great, man. That was on that very back one back there. And yeah, that worked out good. I'm not going to over tighten it, but I think I can snug it up enough to seal that manifold. It feels pretty good. One thing that is a bit suspect, the way this thing is doing, the way it don't want to start and whatnot. I'm gonna check that fuel pump. So you guys watch that bottle while I crank it over and see if you see any fuel shooting in there. Well, ain't that a revolting development? I didn't see anything, did you? Pretty sure I cranked it long enough. It should have got fuel up there. So, I'm very surprised at that. Very surprised. The next thing I was going to look at was this, the little filter that goes in there. That was the next thing on my list of suspects. But, okay, I guess we'll go from there. Well, I put gas in both tanks to make sure. I mean, I think the gauge works, but I wasn't trusting that. But I wanted to make sure it could pick up fuel on either tank, whichever one I have it set on. And I'm getting fuel, but not very much. It just seems like it ought to be just gushing out of there, and it's just barely a little spurt. So, but I'm not ready to accept that I got a bad fuel pump. I just don't happen very often. So I'm wondering if there's a fuel line between the tank and the pump that might not be flowing freely. Could be a pickup in the tank, maybe. I don't want to overthink it, but I think I should check it out and make sure I do have fuel to the fuel pump. That's what I think. I'm just going to blow back through that hose just to make sure there's no obstruction. Okay, I heard that one. And I hear that one. Well, my worst fears have been realized. I was just so convinced that the fuel pump could not be bad, mechanical pump, and I put another one on, you know, and it did the same thing. It just wouldn't start without priming it. So I had this bottle on there and it just kind of dribbled a little in there. I don't know if I got video of that or not. I haven't taken any video for a couple of days. Been doing other things, like rafting the river and stuff. But anyway, where was I? Yeah, so doing the same thing. It wouldn't start just on its own. So I put a clickety clack on it back there by that, right in front of that splitter. This thing's got dual tanks on it, so right in front of that splitter, I put a clickety clack in there, and it still did the same thing. So I was thinking about it, and I go, now wait a minute. When I pulled that hose off that line to put the clickety clack in, I should have had gasoline running down my armpits, but I didn't. So I'm thinking, what's up with that? And besides, on one tank, you get clack, 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 clickety, clack, clack, and then you switch it to the other tank, and it automatically goes quiet, so I know it's picking up fuel. So I should indicate that one tank is empty, but I put gas in both of them just to make sure, so I'm still not sure what's up with that. But anyway, I'm afraid my worst fears have been realized, because I went back under there and pulled that hose off of that clickety clack, and even on the switch that tank that made it quieten down, so I know it had fuel, and it still didn't, totally run down my armpit like it should. So it just had a dribble coming out, and that's what I was getting to the carb, just getting a dribble into that cup over there. So yeah, so I've got a pickup issue in the tank apparently. So, but I put that 454 in there, I'm gonna need both tanks at the same time. So if I want to go to town and back. Nah, I'm just joking. But anyway, I don't want issues with that, So I guess I'm going to be dropping the tanks and see what's going on. But I think I'm going to end this video here, just in the interest of getting a video out, because I haven't posted one in a while. And yeah, that's where that's at. There's a few things I want to do with this truck, and there's a guy on Instagram said, boy, it turned out nice, and I said, I haven't even touched it yet. I haven't even started to clean it up, the paint and stuff, but I've got to, I wanted to get some new door panels. You see how that one's all cracked over there and broken up and sun-baked, but that color, it's back-ordered. I may get some dark brown ones. There's some that dash is kind of a chocolate brown. I'm going to get a skin for that, to put that on there, and I may get the door panels to match that and put my trim on them. That wouldn't look too bad. I'm going to get a carpet for it. This seat is really nice. Yeah, just kind of buff it out, and maybe this winter I'll cut into those rust places and fix those corners there. But I got a bumper for it. I'm going to take some of the ugly out, and boy, that's a whole lot of ugly hanging off of there. So yeah, I got a bumper sitting out here. Got a few things for it, but what I really want for it, I want really bad, is some of those Detroit Steel wheels, Detroit Steel Wheel Company. I like those smoothies. But I also like those Del Reys. Man, those are nice wheels. They come in 18s and 20s, and I want to get maybe some drop spindles and lower the back end. Yeah, just want to do a few things to it. So I'm going to have to start saving up my lunch money, because I just can't afford to do all that at one time. I've got some other things in this old world that I want to do. I'm hoping to take a trip this fall. We'll see how that goes, but yeah, I think it's going to be a nice little short box. So I'll end this video again, but I can't promise you it's really the end. Okay, that is spot on. It's spot on. I'm so glad that I got this thing out this spring and fixed everything that wasn't working on it. Kind of refurbished it a little bit because, and man, it's almost my daily driver. If I go into town, I usually go real early in the morning, and I jump in the old rockabilly. I don't go up in the heat of the day when it's 105 degrees. It won't overheat, but I would. So, yeah, I've just been driving it almost every day, and so I'm glad I kind of got it out and refurbished it because I'm using it for its intended use, which is to have fun with it and drive it, and that's what I've been doing. I gotta run into town and get some fish food. I don't want my fish to starve. Anyway, when I get back, I'm thinking I might change out my school clothes and put my play clothes on and come out here and get under that short box and start looking into dropping all those tanks and checking out the fuel pickup and see if the filter's all plugged up. They got them little sock filters in there, I think. So yeah, I might start looking into that because I got company coming tomorrow, and I don't know how much I'm going to get to work on it this weekend. But yeah, I'll probably delve into that a little bit. Okay, I promise you, this is really, really the end of the video. We'll see you soon. All right, that'll do it for this time, and probably in the next video we're going to find out about dropping that tank and flushing out the line or putting a new pickup or a shock tube filter in there, whatever it needs. We're going to investigate that and get some fuel to this thing, and got some other upgrades. Got a few parts that showed up here for it, so going to be trying to get this thing on the road probably in the next video. So we'll see you then. In the meantime, my family, I love you. To all my subscribers, I sure do appreciate you. See you next time.